Right then, hello. Let's go for a little ride. How many miles have I got left in the tank? 42. Just pulling up to that pump there would have been harder on the S1000 because of the steering lock, or lack of it. So, where am I riding today? Well, nowhere in particular. The sun's out, it's Good Friday, and it certainly will be a Good Friday because I'm on my bike. I've given the 360 camera another chance. I must be mad. My main problem with the 360 camera is that every 30 minutes when you're recording, it has to stop, end one recording and then start another, and it's not seamless. There's always a gap, and it's about 8 seconds, so it makes it hard to synchronize the footage from that camera to the GoPro, for instance, which is continuous recording. There are no gaps. However, with the 360 camera positioned as it is, it can see forward like I can see forward with a GoPro. And that means what I can do is synchronize both cameras to things like the brake lights of cars in front, especially LED ones, because LED brake lights come on and off very, very quickly, usually within one frame of film. So yeah, since both cameras are facing forward, it means it is somewhat easier to sync the 360 footage to the GoPro. But it used to be that the 360 camera was on my helmet, so I'd have a 360 camera facing forward and maybe a camera on the handlebars facing backwards, and so because they weren't facing the same way, it was difficult to synchronize the images. So what are the downsides I found with this bike so far in the last 200 odd miles? How many miles have I done? 271, lovely. Nearly halfway, well, about halfway towards the first service now. Problems, well, I can feel vibration. The vibration doesn't seem too annoying. However, if you're riding for an hour or two, maybe closer to 2 hours, then for me anyway, my right hand starts to go numb. When I'm off the bike, I realise both hands have been affected by the vibes. What are you doing there? So yeah, hands do get affected by vibrations somewhat. It's not obvious, especially for the left hand, it's not obvious until after you get off the bike. But for right hand I feel a bit of vibration. Why are you riding in the dirt, dude? I'm not overtaking you until I'm ready to overtake you. Why risk puncturing your tyres for me? Just chill out. I'll sort you out when I'm ready. Something I don't like, and that is this Speedo Angel, the protective glass. I've read about it on a forum, and someone complained that it seems to give a bit of a red tint to your display when the sun's on it. And I agree. I don't think that red glow or tint is there before I put the screen protector on. So I'm not a fan of that. I'll have to do a bit more digging to see if anyone else has mentioned it. It's about here. There's a bike shop, or there was a bike shop just up there, where I had my first taste of a 1250 Bandit. In fact, I went there to test ride a 1200 Bandit, which had some aftermarket stuff thrown at it, and it was really quite leery. I think it might have been down geared, had a loud exhaust, a jet kit, that sort of thing. It just wanted a wheelie in the first couple of gears all the time, just off the throttle. Fun, but would have been a bit tiring after a while, just trying to accelerate and just finding it was wheeling all the time. Well, I didn't think much about a 1250 Bandit at the time, but they had one, so I thought I'd ride one. and that smooth, easy-going grunt was a revelation. Absolutely, and it sold me on wanting a 1250 Bandit. I got a brand new one eventually, not long afterwards, and enjoyed the hell out of it. But eventually, I was thinking to myself, I like this Bandit, but I wish it handled better. I wish it had better quality suspension. Wish I had even more torque and modern electronics. And that's essentially what this bike is. Like a modern equivalent. Road biased, but it can be thrown around a bit. As much as I hate to admit it, I think it's the weight of this bike and heavy bikes in general, heavy bikes with a decent chassis, are just really well suited to British roads, which are generally crap and in poor condition. It's just heavier bikes just don't get deflected as much off cracks and gaps in the road. Nice thing about running a bike in, and it does kind of reset your expectations, unless you're riding other bikes that are running, and I'm not at the moment obviously, because you're riding slow. Even if you previously owned a faster bike like I did, you acclimatise yourself with the speed you're allowed to go. Since I'm running in, I can't go very quick, but when the running in's done and the service is done, and you open it up, it will feel surprising, impressive. When I first test rode this bike, I felt like the seat was really low, and now I'm used to it. It doesn't feel weird anymore compared to my previous 1250 Bandit and the S1000. Yeah, my legs were closer to the ground. It was easy to flat foot, and on this bike I can flat foot. Well, I can't quite flat foot, but I can get both feet down at the same time with bent knees, which, like I say, kind of felt weird compared to the last two bikes I've owned, but now I've got used to it, and it's nice to be able to put both feet down securely. That is a good feeling, so I'm kind of glad the bike is like it is. Oh, I think I got into a missed gear then, which is my own fault. The gear display was actually blank then. I tried to pop it down from 4th to 3rd, but I had a little bit of throttle on, and I didn't like it. Felt a little bit of a click through the gearbox, and I think it was in a bit of a no man's land. Sorry, bike. What I also like so far about this bike is when you go into first gear, there's no jolt. I'm struggling to think back to the S1000 now, but I think there was a bit of a kick when you put into first gear. Certainly was on the Bandit. That was a hell of a clonk. For a maker motorbike that's supposed to have a really good gear change, getting into first was loud. Got 342 miles on the clock, so it'd be nice if I can get that to 400 today. Today I'm going to take the scenic route to work. Well, what used to be work. I still work there, but they've closed the office now. We're doing the work from home thing, but it was always a good route. Nice ride to work. And since, you know, we can't travel far at the moment with the continuing COVID restrictions, all I can do is really ride locally. So yeah, basically, exhaust wise, yeah, I really can't hear the bike while I'm riding. It's a bit sad. I need to do something about it. Whoa, that's quite nice down there. One day when I do a flat out speed run where legally allowed, I've got to get rid of that. You can get right down on the tank quite nicely. What's this bit of road like in dynamic mode? Oh, certainly feels a bit firmer. bit more reminiscent of the S1000 now. The damping feels firmer. It's less reactive to the bumps, which means you bounce around more. As well as feeling generally firmer, there seems to be less of a tendency for the bike to pitch forward and backwards under acceleration and deceleration. Yeah, I thought dynamic mode for the speeds I can do at the moment, dynamic suspension, might be too firm. It still might be on some rougher roads, but actually feels quite nice. One thing I noticed yesterday after my ride was my, I can't say hips, it was lower and a bit more central and a bit more rearward than that, so a little bit of an ache in my lower backside. But it somehow seemed a bit more leg than bottom related. I don't know, maybe my legs are being spread slightly further apart than they would like by the tank. Doesn't feel like that, especially as I'm riding it, but the ache is there nonetheless, so something I just have to try and understand. Anyway, that was a nice little ride. Spring sun. Hopefully you'll come with me on another ride, or a little bit of a shed time sometime soon.